Hey guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a 2023 Buick Enclave Avenir tour for you and I am super excited. This is the Avenir trim, the top trim level. We're dealing with an MSRP of $61,000 and we're going to dive into what that gets you from a family's perspective. If this is your first time joining me, hey, I'm Kelly and I'm the car mom. I review cars for moms and for families. I'm a mom of 3 and a certified child passenger safety tech. Also, full disclaimer, I forgot my car seats, which I know is like the thing that I do on these tours, but unfortunately it wasn't in the cards. But luckily I've been doing this for about 3 years now, so I have a pretty good understanding of how things are going to fit. So I will be sure to talk about the car seat setup in depth. I just want to be able to give you that visual. And hey, if you're in the market for a car like maybe this one, don't go car shopping without first checking out some of our amazing car buying resources found at the Car Mount. We have free digital downloads, an online course, and personalized consultations to walk you through every step of the way. And before we get started on the exterior, I want to give a shout out to Dave Sinclair, Buick GMC here in St. Louis for lending us the car. Thank you so much. All right, take a look at her. Take a look at her in all of her glory. So the front end grille, I think it's actually really beautiful. I'm kind of into the Buick logo with the 3 separate colors. Like, I love to see color in a logo. We don't see that very often, do we? The hood is nice and big, some really subtle rounded hood lines. It's very round in the front, and then we have this really cool LED light bar that comes around with a little Buick logo right there as well. This color blue is called their Emperor Blue Metallic, and it's a gorgeous shade. It's like a very bright color navy, and it looks great on this Avenir trim level with all of the beautiful chrome accents. Okay, let's come along to the side, and I want you to take in this car. It is a big size. In fact, the Buick Enclave is one of the largest mid-size SUVs you can get. Chevy Traverse is also incredibly comparable to the Buick Enclave. They're almost identical as far as the car seat setup and spacing is concerned. And what that means for families is this is a great vehicle to look at before you make the jump to full size. So if you're kind of deciding like, do I want an Expedition or a Yukon, or do I want to stay in this more mid-size category, Buick Enclave is one of the largest. So I would start here. If this isn't enough space, save yourself a trip to the Hyundai store, the Infiniti store, the Volvo store, because they are all going to be smaller than the Enclave. If this isn't enough space, then you know you're going to be in the full-size market or you're going to be needing a minivan. Okay, and then just taking a look at her back end, you know, they did some nice updates to the Enclave when they changed their body style last. I kind of feel like the back end still looks like some of the older ones. So would have maybe liked a few more updates back here, but overall I think it's nice, it's chromy. Chrome bar right here, some Enclave badging, some more chrome down here. All right, now let's get into the interior. Let's break down the safety features, the car seat setup, the comfort features, and all things Buick Enclave. Okay, let's start by breaking down the door panel in this Buick Enclave. So, General Motors products, here's what I like about them. They're consistent across the board. They all look and operate very similarly. So we do have some memory seats, power folding mirrors, and then down here we have a little bit of a side compartment. Let's see if it passes the Stanley test. Oh wow, it actually does. It's actually very deep. I honestly was not expecting that. We have the Bose sound system as well, and we have a way that we can set our tailgate to different heights, max, 3/4, or turn the power tailgate off completely. So let me get you over on the other side and we'll start breaking down some of the safety features. So this car is $61,000. It's pretty expensive for a mid-size SUV. I would say the Buick brand, in my perception, is like kind of trying to figure out their identity. Like they're not quite luxury, but they're not quite mass market. It's somewhere in between, kind of like where we find like the Acuras, the Genesis, the Infinitis even, somewhere in between there. So you're definitely getting some nicer features and some nicer design elements than you would in like other vehicles in the GM lineup. But for $61,000, I'm expecting a lot of bells and whistles. So let's kind of break down what we find on this Avenir. Starting off, we do have heads-up display, which I was excited to see. A lot of these mid-size SUVs don't come with heads-up display. Some of them do, but some are not available even at the highest trim level. So I love heads-up display. It displays the information on the windshield. I can see how fast I'm going, who's calling, where my navigation's taking me next. I think it's a great way to keep your eyes on the road while still being connected to your car. And then moving on to the steering wheel, we do have some nice features here. So we do have a heated steering wheel, which is awesome. And then we have our automated cruise control, all of our voice control right here. Okay, now let's move on to the infotainment system. So they keep the screen pretty simple. Honestly, I wish it was a little bigger. I feel like for the price of the car, for this like luxury kind of market they're in, I like my screen a little larger, but it still is very user-friendly and still does everything you would need it to do. So we have navigation, we also have a Wi-Fi hotspot, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, an incredible camera system. I mean, a super crisp and clear camera with a ton of different angles. We have our surround view, our backup, even our tow hitch camera and our side cameras. So that was very exciting to see. And I also thought this was pretty user-friendly, especially for moms. The rear climate is super easy to operate. It's literally as simple as just flipping back and forth between the two. I think the climate control overall is pretty user-friendly. I like that in the front seat, I can do it up here, but then I can also make quick adjustments down here as well. So we've got our climate control, heated seats, ventilated seats, and massaging seats, plus a heated steering wheel found on the Avenir trim, which, my friends, is what you love to see. Continuing on, we have a wireless charger, USB, USB-C, and our cup holders. I was worried about them, but you know what? They fit. So who am I to complain? And then if we head into our center console, not very wide, but it is very deep. Okay, a few more mom-friendly features. We have the rear view camera. Now, this is an important feature, especially if you're going to be having older passengers or forward-facing car seats in the third row, because that, my friends, can start to really affect some visibility. So I love that if I were to have someone back there, I could see an unobstructed view of what's behind me. Okay, so the sunroof in the Buick Enclave is interesting because you can't really call it a panoramic because it has a break right here, but you still have one in the front and then one in the second and the third rows. And I can't explain it, but there's something I really like about it. It breaks up the cabin a little bit. It kind of makes it almost makes it feel bigger. I don't know if that's just me being crazy, but I actually really like the two different sunroofs. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about up here. So overall, infotainment system, simple but user-friendly. Cup holders could be a little bit bigger. Seat, very comfortable. And the massager is nice. I don't think we talked about this yet, but it's very subtle. I would say instead of like vibrating or like poking you, it more just kind of moves your body. I imagine that Buick would tell me that it prevents driver fatigue because it's just kind of like moving the blood flow a little bit. I'm sure they would tell me something like that. So anyway, overall, liking the front seat, but let's get to that second and third row and see just how family friendly it is, because size is one thing, my friends, but family friendliness is quite a different thing. Okay, so here we are in the second row of the Buick Enclave. And you know what, you guys, it's comfortable. Head clearance, knee clearance, arm clearance. I love that this is like even padded. It feels very, very comfortable back here. Plus on this door panel, I even have like my own little cubby spaces, like I guess like a circle-ish type cup holder. I mean, that doesn't work, but I think like a bottle of water would work. And then I have some nice deep side cubbies as well. Some things I'm missing, sunshades. I feel as though we should have sunshades in here. But I do have some other good amenities like ceiling vents. Hello, I love ceiling vents. And I'm honestly loving this panoramic roof back here. Like, it's actually all the way behind me, which is super fun, letting so much great natural light in. I also have heated seats, 2 USBs, and a 12-volt back here as well, plus my own climate control. Okay, so for the car seat setup, we have lower anchors in both of these outboard seats. Now, the Buick Enclave is only available in captain stairs. The Chevy Traverse, you can get a bench, I think, only on a few of the trim levels, but Buick Enclave, it's captains or bus. So in the captain stairs, we have 2 sets of lower anchors and tether anchors on the back. In the third row, we have 3 seats, 3 tether anchors, no lower anchors. As far as how car seats would fit, the answer is wonderfully. Like I said, this is one of the largest mid-size SUVs that you can get, and we have great, great, great flexibility for car seats. I have a Chevy Traverse tour on my YouTube channel, so if you want to see a rear-facing and forward-facing seat in there, go check that out, knowing that they're basically the same on the interior. So one thing that's interesting about the Enclave is there's 2 different ways to access the third row depending on what seat you have. So I'll show you this in a second. This is a stunning car seat tilt. You know I love that. This one, you can't really, I don't want to say you can't access it because you could always go around, but like there's no tilt and slide. It just folds over, which I think is kind of weird. But on the passenger side, we do have one of my favorite features, the car seat tilt, where the entire seat tilts, then you can slide it forward, and even if you had a car seat installed here with the lower anchors, it would not affect how it was installed, and then you could easily access the third row. So, you know, you have the captain's chair, so you could also do that third row access, but sometimes with any of the midsize vehicles, I just feel like the aisle isn't quite wide enough. The Enclave is probably one of the wider aisles in its class. Like, there are some small aisleways. This one, you know what, let me try it. Let's not get it on camera, but I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, here I am in the third row of the Buick Enclave, and I'm pretty comfortable. It's not the most third row legroom, so even though it's one of the larger cars, honestly, a lot of that space we're gonna see in the trunk, but I'm pretty comfy. My knees are not braced against here. I appreciate that the floorboard isn't elevated. Sometimes they elevate the floorboards, and then you get like a knees to your chest sensation. The car is basically, there's a little bit of an elevation, but for the most part, it's basically like the same height all across. Head clearance for a third row is still really impressive. Ceiling vents, USB cup holders right here. So it's a 60-40 split. And the only thing I don't like is that they don't put a middle head restraint here. Because now this is not the ideal seat for someone to sit in. However, these seats are wide. I like that these buckles are flexible. See how I can move these? This means, because I've done it before, you can do a forward-facing car seat here. So you probably can't do 2 forward-facing car seats because that would be way too tight, but I have put a single forward-facing car seat here before and it's worked out well. So the third row isn't horrible for car seats like some other midsize SUVs are. So overall it's good. Would like a middle head restraint here and would like to see some lower anchors, Buick. Again, not necessary because you can install most car seats with just a seat belt, but your girl likes the flexibility. And I feel like, how expensive is a lower anchor? Like, just put it in. You know what I mean? Okay, let's get to the trunk space because honestly, like, that's kind of the star of the show. Okay, so some exciting features. Hands-free power tailgate. Your girl loves a hands-free power tailgate. Now, we can go inside and first of all, I love the mats. Like, genius. Make this standard across the board. And check out our trunk space, 23.6 cubic feet. Actually, it's 0.6 inches bigger than the Traverse. The Chevy Traverse is 23. This is 23.6. This is truly some best-in-class mid-size SUV trunk space. So that looks awesome. Plus, you can super easily put your third row down with just the touch of a button, and look how quick it is. I mean, normally I don't love the power ones because it takes forever, but like that's quick. Look how quick this one comes back up. That's like Olympic speed quick. I'm not even kidding. Okay, let's put it back down. And now take a look at that cargo space. Looks excellent. Let's explore under here. Bada bing, bada boom. Hey-o, that is nice. That is nice. You know what you put there? A park blanket. I would keep like some just essentials. That center console's like not winning any awards with me, so like an extra change of clothes for your kids, some toys, towels, summer's coming up, swimsuits, swim diapers, travel pot, the list goes on and on. I think I have some organization videos on my channel that you can explore. But overall, incredible trunk space. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this 2023 Buick Enclave Avenir tour. I'm dying to hear your thoughts on this. What are we calling it? Like a mid-tier luxury vehicle? Let me know in the comments below and also tell me what vehicle I should tour next.